Kia ora kato katoa. My name is Sir Lukachu, and nor am I hiding my back to a Pokemon video. Actually, it's a reaction video. I think the last time I did a reaction was a try not to laugh, and then I did a try not to cringe. Yeah, those were terrible. I don't know why I put them up to begin with. This is 20 obscure Pokemon facts you did not know. This is done by BlueBoyPhin, and he's actually done quite a few, actually. He's done about 15 so far. And I thought, you know what? He looks like a Pokemon fan. I'm a Pokemon fan. Let's have a look together, you know? Maybe there's things I don't know. I'm keen to learn. So join me as we discovered this. Alright, here we go.
Did you know Shuckle's the slowest Pokemon? Did you know that Rhydon's the first Pokemon ever designed?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, then I'm going to tell you some Pokemon facts that I think you don't know.
Okay.
I went out of my way to find facts about Pokemon that if you were to tell a seasoned Pokemon fan, they would have no idea. And I'm genuinely curious how many people are aware of these, so let me know in the comments. But anyways, I'm BlueBoyPhin, and let's get into this.
I love his avatar, by the way. I'll try not to pause too much. Probably maybe just after like a fact or so. Alright.
I'm going to start this video off with one of the coolest facts on this list, and that is the gift Pokemon in Heart Gold Soul Silver that went undiscovered for over 10 years until the year 2020, and was only found when Reddit user that goes by Alucard the Guy was attempting to soft lock their game by trapping themselves in Cianwood City without a Pokemon that knows surf or a way to obtain one. As a soft lock prevention method, there is an NPC in the Cianwood Pokemon Center that gives you a gift tentacle if your game meets those conditions. And it can even be shiny hunted. This is one of the coolest things ever to me, and it makes me wonder what other mysteries still lie in these games, even after all these years.
Isn't that cool? 10 years later, you know? And someone who's trying to, you know, do things that you're not really supposed to be doing in the game. Oh, but that's the cool thing, you know? And he discovers this. Gives you a Pokemon. And it most likely shiny. That's awesome. I love that. No, I didn't know that one.
If you enter Rock Tunnel in Pokemon Yellow and happen to level up your Pikachu to level 26, where it learns Thunderbolt, you'll be greeted by this interesting animation that plays and lights up the cave temporarily.
Yes, I do have Pokemon Yellow, and yes, I do know that one. It is so cool. Talk about like the first like Pokemon game where your Pikachu follows you. You go to talk to it and it makes the actual Pikachu noises, you know? And it shows the expressions. I think the cool ones I remember is after you do like a gym battle, you know? Pikachu has really cool expressions. Or if you faint, I think Pikachu has like a sad expression like Pikachu, you know? Because all your Pokemon fainted, but it's just, so cool.
In Generation 5 of Pokemon, the best generation, when you are on any route in the game, the drums of the music will only play when you are moving. If you're standing still, the drums will completely stop. I actually recorded a little bit of gameplay so you can see.
That's cool. That's cool.
So we all know in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and Colosseum, there are some interesting changes to shiny forms of some Pokemon. But there's one in particular that I find to be incredibly interesting, and that Pokemon is Vaporeon. Huge shout out to one of my best friends in the community, Mr. Alpha, who's hunted shiny Eevee in this game and told me about this. When you evolve your Eevee into a Vaporeon, it acquires this interesting snowy aura that literally no other Pokemon has in this game or any game since. Although it's not exclusive to just the shiny version, I think it makes the shiny version look incredible. Next fact, Hugh from Pokemon Black and White 2 is the best rival in all of Pokemon. That's totally not my opinion and an irrefutable fact.
Yeah, he is pretty cool. I gotta say, he is pretty cool.
Okay, maybe that's my opinion, but he's the only rival to punch an evil team member, and that's pretty badass. I mean, come on. The 3 legendary dogs, although not obtainable in Ruby and Sapphire, it's possible they could have claimed to have been. The reason for that is there's a rendition for the legendary dog theme present in the game, in the classic Hoenn sound font, and you're listening to it right now. But sadly, it went unused in the final release, and that honestly makes me kind of sad, because these are some of my favorite legendary Pokemon ever created. But there's also a few more unused tracks in the game from Johto region, another being Route 38. So maybe the team was just having fun remixing these absolute jammers.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
You probably know about...
You know, it's interesting when you get to really dig into these Pokemon games and you find, like, you know, music, assets that had just not been used, you know? So
probably
cool.
know about Shucky, the gift Shuckle in the Johto region, but did you know it can't be shiny in Heart Gold Soul Silver, but it can in Gold Silver Crystal? Black and White 2 are the only main series games where your protagonist is canonically older than usual. Following that idea, there's multiple themes in the game targeted for a slightly more mature audience. For example, you can get a romantic partner in Black and White 2, Yancey or Curtis, and if you follow their side quests, you can get some Pokemon traded to you that you otherwise can't find anywhere in the Unova region, such as Ralts, Spiritomb, and Togepi. Pokemon Master.
I did not know this! I did not know this because I have not played, and I feel bad, but here we go, I'm testifying. I have not played Pokemon Black and White 2. I haven't really got an excuse. I do have the game. I guess I got the game probably a couple of years ago. Very expensive. Very expensive. But knowing that there's a little more to... I mean, okay, I'm not going to just play the game now because there's a quote-unquote a bit of romance going in there. But I do want to play all the Pokemon games, okay? I really do. And there's a few I've still yet to play. So, yeah. I'm a bit different when it comes to playing Pokemon. I like to take my time. Compared to a friend of mine I know who can complete it in a weekend. In fact, probably within a day. He's that OCD.
Masters. No, not that one. Pokemon Masters Arena, the PC game. Never played it? Good, don't. It's probably the worst game ever made. It was a crappy kids game, full of the easiest puzzles and minigames that I can promise you couldn't stand to play for more than 10 seconds. Well, in this game, one of the quiz questions is, which one of these Pokemon cannot be found in the Safari Zone?
Ooh. Let's see. Which of these Pokemon cannot be caught in the Safari Zone? Okay, is it Staryu? Is it Staryu?
In the image, they are clearly referring to Staryu, as you can get Heracross in Ruby Sapphire Emerald and Pinsir in Fire and Leaf Green. Well, guess what, Pokemon Masters Arena, if that even is your real name? Technically speaking, that is kind of false. In Pokemon Gold and Silver's fabled unreachable Safari Zone, if you glitch inside of it and fish into the water, guess what you can get?
No way.
That's right. Staryu, bitch. The Reggies have some of the coolest cryptic puzzles to obtain them in any Pokemon game. But did you know these puzzles were inspired by the hype and craze of the mysterious Mew under the truck fiasco?
What?
And speaking of Reggies, did you know they're all based on time periods in the real world? Regis representing the Ice Age, Regirock representing the Stone Age, and Registeel representing the Iron/Bronze Age. And the two newest additions, Regieleki and Regidrago, representing the Modern and Dark Ages respectively. Speaking of Gen 3...
Okay, we gotta stop. Go back. What did you mean concerning... Hold on.
The coolest cryptic puzzles to obtain them in any Pokemon game.
Yeah?
But did you know these puzzles were inspired by the hype and craze of the mysterious Mew under the truck?
No way. Is that real? Is that true? I remember that. Now, I'm not talking about like, oh, I remember, like, I know that. Like, yeah, everyone should. Well, all generations should know that. I remember back in the day, when you were stuck on things, right, for Fire Red, well, that's when I was playing Fire Red at the time. I would go on forums, you know, just asking questions about Pokemon in general. And I think this was after I completed Fire Red, so I think it was like concerning Entei. I think it was Entei that some reason started to appear after I completed Fire Red. And so, you know, I went onto the forums to ask for help. And that's when I discovered these other questions, like the Mew under the truck. And it's like, wait, you can get a Mew under the truck? No, you can't get a Mew under the truck. That is false. And yes, I have tried. Wow, okay, did not know that was inspired.
Gen 3, there's also a 1 out of 64 chance to see a hiker climbing Mount Chimney when you ride the ski lift.
Yep.
And I got way too excited when I found one.
Yeah, I've come across that one. If I have to be honest, yeah, Ruby was probably the most played Pokemon game. I just love Ruby to bits. I really do.
Should say in your, Oh, there he is! That was exciting! Did you see him? It's 1 out of 64.
It's so awesome.
So loud.
It's so awesome.
This next one is incredibly interesting to me. So in Generation 4, things in the game change depending on what day you play the game.
Yes.
Days like director Junichi Masuda's birthday increase the rate which eggs will hatch by a whopping 10%. And important dates like holidays such as Christmas Eve, Independence Day, Veterans Day, and many, many more all increase the rate in which you encounter wild Pokemon by 5%. While days that world tragedies occurred, the encounter rate decreases by 10%. Although this is a seemingly meaningless change, this feature is one of those things that adds a certain kind of magic and care to the older Pokemon games that I wish were still carried in the series.
Speaking my mind, mate. Wow, this is why we love the old Pokemon games. There just seemed to be a lot of love and tender and care with them, you know. So much extra cool things you can discover, you know. I mean, the fact that on this guy's birthday and on special public holidays and such, you know, you can find special Pokemon, the chance has risen. And on days that where, you know, terrible disasters have happened in history, it goes down. Like, I didn't know that. But that's awesome. That's amazing. Wow. Why can't they do that with the rest of the games? It's sad. Wow. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Nice. When you're making curry in Pokemon Sword and Shield, there's a chance a Pokemon will wander into your camp for you to obtain, and they can even be shiny.
I've had, I think that's only happened to me once. And I love the camping in Sword and Shield, you know. I mean, there's not much to do, but I still enjoy it. And I can't remember what Pokemon it was, but when it walked in, I was like, hey, hold on. You're not mine. And it was like, it wants to be your friend. And I was like, yes! It was such cool. It wasn't shiny, but I still accepted.
Did you know that Ken Sugimori, the man who drew all the official art for literally every single Pokemon, also created the Pokemon logo?
No.
This dude's art is incredibly iconic. I bet his only regret is drawing this guy. I bet you didn't know that Pokemon came out with a typing game for the Nintendo DS.
Yes, and I still want it, and I'm still gonna get it. I know it's not available on the usual retail, but I'll find a copy somewhere. Yes. Typing adventure. Let's go.
That came with a keyboard to connect to your DS. The game was called Pokemon Typing Adventure, and the soundtrack was actually so good. You're
Really?
actually listening to one of the songs off it right now. Did you know there are berries in the main series Pokemon games that are exclusive to Japan? In Generation 3, there were 12 berries distributed by the e-reader cards.
Wow.
If you were to theoretically obtain an e-reader card and an e-reader and transfer one of the berries up to Generation 5 or beyond, they would become the mysterious Enigma Berry, which if held by a Pokemon has the following effects. When a Pokemon holds an Enigma Berry and is hit by a super effective move, it will recover 1/4 of its HP.
Wow.
Some of you might know that Sword and Shield's shiny hunting method is actually broken, and you do not get the right amount of boosted shiny odds after 500 KOs. But that's not the first time something like this has happened, even in the main series Pokemon games. In Pokemon Emerald, there's a coding error that makes the game behave as if it has a dead save battery, meaning you can't soft reset for a shiny Pokemon. Because instead of generating new frames, every time you soft reset or just boot up your game, Emerald always puts you back to frame 0. So unless you got pretty lucky and there's a shiny frame in your first 100 frames, soft resetting for a shiny is useless.
Wow.
If you want to know more about this and some ways to get around it, LJ, Shiny Collector, has some great videos about it, link in description. There is a very interesting item only present in Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, only found in Cerulean Cave, called the Berserk Gene, that raises your Pokemon's attack by 2 stages, but also confuses you, kind of like using the move Swagger on yourself. This is probably a reference to a popular theory about the famous Berserker mushrooms that Vikings would eat to enter a dissociative trance-like state and battle non-stop. Kind of a dark thing to bring to a Pokemon game. The touch boxes in Diamond and Pearl on Nintendo DS were created to be larger, so you could touch them with your fingers. Some staff originally did not like this idea because they thought the DS would get dirty with
Yeah, I mean, he speaks truth, you know. Yeah, he speaks truth. I think the rule with me was that I always used the stylus because, yeah, you use your fingers, it's going to get dirty, and probably, you know, you might bust it, I don't know. But, yeah.
In March of 2005, a Pokemon theme park opened in Nagoya, Aichi, Japan, called Pokepark, complete with bumper cars, Ferris wheels, trains, and all assortments of rides. But most interestingly is you could also receive exclusive gift Pokemon. You could bring your Game Boy Advance and connect to machines that distributed the Pokemon via an egg. And they weren't any random Pokemon either. Although not legendary, they possessed special moves that otherwise these Pokemon would never be able to learn, such as Tailo with Feather Dance, a Pichu with Follow Me, and an Igglybuff with Tickle.
It's interesting when he brings up how, you know, you can take your Game Boy, you know, to this Pokemon Park, which, by the way, I am so jealous, you know. Yeah, you can get Pokemon with special moves. You know, because there was a time period where, you know, for the Game Boys, if you lived in Japan and in America, especially, you know, in certain parts of America, you know, you can go to like a Pokemon, well, even a GameStop, you know, like GameStop and such. In Japan, I guess it would just be like an actual Pokemon place or gaming place, and you can get those Pokemon events, those special Pokemon, like the ticket, you know, in Emerald, that you can go to Island, and you can get the chance to capture Mew, you know. In New Zealand, those things didn't exist, as far as I know, so hey.
Sadly, Pokepark shut down only 4 months after opening in September of that same year.
Why 4 months? 4 months? Are you crazy? I guess back then they weren't exactly sure if Pokemon was gonna blow up. Man, 4 months. What does that tell you? It tells you that, like, it must have been wild, but not wild enough to keep it going. It must have been expensive to run. I don't know why they don't open a new one now. Look how big Pokemon has gotten. Hello, it's the #1 franchise in the world.
But one very intriguing possibility remains. Because of the way these gift Pokemon were received, via egg, the Pokemon values such as nature, gender, and IVs were different each time, meaning that they could be shiny. And I'd like to think that at the very least, just one kid during these few months received a shiny gift Pokemon. And if this were the case, and for example someone hatched a shiny Tailo from the event, because of the small window of time these were available and the multitude of Pokemon distributed by the event, it would most likely be the only shiny Tailo in the entire world that knows Feather Dance legitimately.
That's
and I
cool.
think that's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Wow.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed hanging here, subscribing and liking tells me there's people out here who enjoy this kind of thing, and it inspires me to make more.
Oh, yeah.
Also, come say hello on my Twitch. I'm probably live right now playing Pokemon. But that's it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Peace. Thank you. Thank you so much. BlueBoyPhin. That was so much fun. Wow. That was cool. I enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to watching the rest of his stuff. There were some things that I already knew, but there was a whole lot I did not know. And not gonna lie, it kind of got my my joy for Pokemon kind of burning up again, you know? Like, yeah, I'm always going to be a fan of Pokemon, but let's be honest, as you get older and the games don't exactly, you know, the fire does die down, but just watching that, oh, and just seeing like the Twitch streamers and even himself get all excited, you know, it's like that fire just, you know. No, I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to watching more. Hey, if you want to know more about Pokemon facts, go check out this guy, BlueBoyPhin. Check out his work. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to definitely keep going. That's all for me for now, and I'll see you guys next time with more of this. Honestly, this is really cool. I'm excited to learn more. I feel like a kid again. Alright, you all stay safe. Alright, keep yourself well. And God bless, and I'll catch you next time. Next time? Next time. Next time. Bye.